when cinema reflects the prism of life and gives a panoramic view of those living around. It is said that cinema has come of its age. It is more so in the times of trial and turbulence that cinema appears to nurture hope, mirror the aspirations, positivity, creativity, and jubilation of the many. Well, the pandemic era has shifted the focus of entire world towards issues concerning the environment. This makes the role of media even more crucial, and that is what we are going to discuss today. Hello, everyone. I am Pramod Kumar Pandey, Assistant Professor, DME Media School, and your host for the session titled Filmmaking as a Tool for Environment Communication. Well, before I introduce our guests, let me give you a brief of the festival. Well, CIFFI 2020 second edition is the world's first 7-day hybrid international film festival organized by DME Media School, Delhi Metropolitan Education, Noida and Deccan University, Melbourne. Starting from December 15, 2020 onwards, the festival has film screenings simultaneously. The films are like a bouquet as they represent 7 categories from 10 countries and 10 different languages, and not to miss the home country with films coming from 10 states and in 10 different languages. Today, there are around 27 films being screened on the second screen of CIFFI website. So please do tune into CIFFI at dme.ac.in to watch very interesting cinema like Harakon, Gandhi Ji Ka Sapna, A Bit of Clean Air, Rang Banaras. Well, these are just a few names. You can visit our CIFFI website to get more details. I'd also like to mention here that CIFFI 2020 also has association from 12 partners, including our festival ambassador, Mr. Tigmanshu Dhulia, a noted Indian film dialogue writer, director, actor, screenwriter, producer, and casting director. More known for his films like Dil Se, Pan Singh Tomar, he has won National Film Award for the Best Feature Film for Pan Singh Tomar. Thank you very much for extending your support, Mr. Tigmanshu Dhulia. And our festival partners include Cover Drive Productions, Vigyan Prasad, CMS Vatavaran, We Care Film Festival for promoting and exhibiting films on disability, Delhi International Film Festival, Kids Cinema 2020. We have our university partner as Adamas University, Kolkata. We have our institutional partners, that is Indian Documentary Producers Association, IDPA, Indian Academy of Shorts, IAS, New Delhi Film Foundation, and we have the Pioneer and the Policy Times as our media partners. Well, I would request Professor Amrish Saxena, sir, to start the session and to throw light on the issue that we are going to discuss today. Over to Mr. Amrish Saxena, sir.
Uh, this session, which is on environment, films, and wildlife film, this is definitely a very, very important thing because when we talk about environment, this is something which is closely related to our life. Like the kind of conditions which are prevailing in New Delhi these days, Delhi and NCR, and every year this happens, the pollution that happens, whether it's because of the air pollution and this particulate materials, and every time, every year we are facing this kind of problem. So this is one example. Then the problem that we face in terms of I mean environmental issues which are degrading our lives despite the fact that there is so much material gains that the world has gained. But then the life is affected. This corona is another example, which is, I mean, wherein we are trying to disturb the nature, then the nature takes its own toll, and then it comes to us in different forms, whether it's in the form of diseases, whether it's in the form of bad quality of air, and so many things are there. So environment has to be looked into from different perspectives with its multiple facets and all. And there can be nothing more effective medium than communicating through the visual medium to the people on environmental issues. And CMS is one such organization which has been working very hard in this area. And since the time, I think it's almost 20 years or so, the CMS instituted this very prestigious festival which is called Vatavaran, and which is doing a great service in the form of promoting the films and curating the films and organizing the film festivals. And there's a floating film festival every second year. So whatever films are made and films are submitted as part of the Vatavaran, they are taken round the year throughout the country so that more and more people can come across, can watch, and can understand the issues related to environment. So this particular session also has been curated by CMS
Well, I think there is some network issue. I would like to invite Mr. Anand Jha, Senior Manager Coordination, CMS Vatavaran, to tell us something about the functioning of CMS Vatavaran and the contribution of CMS Vatavaran.
Thank you, Pramod ji, and thank you, Dr. Saxena, to giving such a beautiful introduction of CMS Vatavaran. And yeah, of course, CMS Vatavaran is an initiative of Center for Media Studies. It's called, in short, it's called CMS. So CMS Vatavaran is India's and wildlife films. The festival was organized for the first time in the year 2002. The second festival was organized in the year 2003. After 2003, it was decided to organize the festival once in 2 years. So in 2003, it was also decided to showcase the award-winning films in other metros, state capitals, and smaller cities, and organize interesting and interactive programs around it. Thus was the foundation laid for the CMS Vatavaran Environment and Wildlife Traveling Film Festival. The Traveling Film Festival too is organized once in 2 years across India and world. Up to 2020, 10 competitive and 9 traveling editions in over 50 Indian and international cities have been organized. So CMS Vatavaran is today a festival of environment and wildlife of international status and acclaim. So thank you so much. Everybody knows about the CMS Vatavaran. Then call for entry is open. So I hope although filmmaker are watching this session, they must really try to submit their films. The deadline of the submission is 31st March 2021. Over to you, Pramod ji. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you, Amri sir. Thank you, Anand sir. Now, to take the discussion forward, let me tell you about the panel of experts that we have today. We have Aarti Srivastav ma'am. She's a national award-winning documentary filmmaker. She has been associated with films like Serious Men that we saw on Netflix, Kick, and was also associated with films like My Name is Khan, Kambak Ishq, just to name a few. She is currently busy directing West Indies cricketer Dwayne Bravo in her upcoming film Men Take Lead, and is simultaneously writing her first commercial film on women empowerment to be played by a leading female artist from the South. Having started her journey as a Bollywood show anchor and producer with CNBC TV 18, she has been a jury member on various national and international film festivals, including prestigious National Film Awards, International Film Festival of India, Goa. And besides managing her media production company, she has produced and directed many environmental films, which has brought grassroots level change in the society. Thank you very much, Aarti ma'am, for being with us. And our other panelist for the session is Mr. Jalal Jilani. Well, film being a real enduring medium of connect and reaction, he has a flair for storytelling, film treatment, and narrative. He lives for the cause, willfully and passionately is associated with environmental issues. In filmmaking, his core themes are environment, water, climate change, livelihoods, innovation, forests, and glaciers, without which life is practically impossible and unimaginable. His films are known to capture human emotions and pain extremely well and leaves a last long impact on the viewers for introspection. His compassion and concern for human empowerment is evident in his films, and there isn't any doubt that he does whatever it takes to get the real stories with the long-lasting impact out in the open. Well, in addition to his love for the filmmaking, he's a writer, photographer, he's an avid travel blogger. Thank you very much, Mr. Jalal, for being with us for this panel discussion. I welcome all of you for to this panel discussion. The session will be followed by a question and answer round, and the viewers are requested to write their questions and post it in the chat box during the course of the discussion. And with this, I would now like to request Aarti ma'am and Jalal sir to unmute themselves and turn on their cameras and give the opening remarks on the topic that we are going to discuss today.
Hi, good morning, everybody. This is Aarti, and the thing is that I have just relocated yesterday, and it's the entire thing is not set. So, is it okay if I do not put on the video? That would be fine, right?
That's fine, Artiji.
Yeah,
Your
and
words is
also.
important.
And also the thing is that my internet is not yet set, and if I put on the video mode, it'll have a lot of lag. So it's better that I opt to the audio mode right now. So basically, I would just like to begin the session with a warm welcome to everybody. And the year is ending, and we have seen a lot in this year. And we are going to welcome a new year very soon. So we all have to be ready and charged for that new year. So as we just saw the trailer, I mean, it's basically on a natural phenomena that's taking place, and the glaciers are receding. So this was this whole idea was to just capture the story of how this entire the issue was being tackled by a single man, and he had provided water to. He was instrumental in providing water to a number of villages across. I mean, it's a high altitude, and they have to depend on glacial melt water. So when the water melts, I mean, the entire region gets water for their entire summer. But the way the global warming is happening, the way the temperature is rising, you basically had the entire glacier melting at such a high at such a faster speed that the entire summer was without water. So he came up with this brilliant engineering idea of putting this entire step glacier formation, and he kind of monitored the entire glacier formation, and also the way it went to all the villages, and it was distributed through canals and everything. So this was a brilliant idea. In terms of, this is something I would like to say, that this is an environmental film wherein we are tackling with nature, and we don't know what is going to happen, and it's like we do not have any means to kind of basically to protect ourselves. So we have to come forward, and we have to kind of make these kind of take these kind of steps, and tackle such situations together. So this is one kind of film that we talk about, where we are fighting with the nature directly. The second type of film that we are basically into, I mean, I'm basically into, is basically like how these big corporates are kind of, tackling the entire, I mean, grabbing all the forest areas and trying to create factories and industries, and how it's actually impacting the environment, and how it's impacting the air, the water, and everything. So that's the clip that I would like to play next, which actually talks about, which is basically my upcoming film, which is going to be a feature-length film, wherein we talk about these cement factories, which are in the Lomshnong area of Meghalaya. Very close to Shillong, there's this beautiful village which has the highest grade of limestone available in the country. And how these all giant cement factories, which you see on a daily basis, like which you hear about on a daily basis, like Star Cement, Tiger Cement, and all these cement factories have taken the forest land. I mean, all the cases are still in court, and they are still being fought. but all these factories actually are right inside like the forest land, and they are flouting all the environmental norms and everything. And they have about within 5 kilometers they have about 15 big cement factories. The way it has impacted the entire region is that the forest cover is receding, so all the animals are right on the street these days, and they have no place to go. The water is totally contaminated. The area of the air in that area is so bad that you cannot even breathe properly, and all the children in these villages are now facing asthma problem. So these are the kind, and there's nobody who's taking care of anything. So there was this idea of kind of fighting these giants, which we know who they are. The previous film, that the clip that I showed, we were fighting the nature. So we were kind of trying to tackle the entire environment scenario here. Now here we are trying to tackle all these corporates who are not bothered about the environment, not bothered about the society, not bothered about the human population, which is close to those factories. So if this is like about 4-minute clip, which I would like to play for you guys to see that, what kind of angles do you really need to, take when you are talking about a kind of environmental issue, which we are in between. So the thing is that when you see this clip, you will see that, it's a place. There are about 11 or 15 cement factories in 5 kilometer range, which is never seen. Like, it is not possible to keep so many factories within this much area. And so it's all on the land, and we all know it, that it exists, but there's nothing that the government is doing about it. So there is this whole thing that, how it's impacting the air, the water, the people, the animals, the forest. So we have actually talked to everybody who was a part of this. So if we may just play that clip, you would understand what we're talking about. So you just saw this clip wherein when we talk about industries, how they are polluting the environment and how they're responsible for the entire culture, which will disappear very soon. And so we need to raise our voices, and we need to talk about these kind of issues wherein we can come together, kind of fight this lobby, and kind of change the scenario, change the situation, or bring to the notice of a lot of people, influential people who can really raise the voice. So these are the kind of films that environmental films basically are about. And there are positive films, like which I'm trying to, which the film which won the national award 2-3 years ago was the one wherein we showcased it was a biographical film wherein we showcased this person from Assam, Mr. Jadav Payeng, and how he planted about 1,500 acres of forest all by himself, and how he was responsible in creating a sandbar into a full-fledged ecosystem which houses about 4 Bengal tigers and vultures and everything. So converting a sandbar into a whole lot of this beautiful forest was an amazing positive film to watch, of how one person can really change the face of kind of of the earth. So this was one film. Then we are actually researching on the other film, which talks about how one person basically is kind of tackling this whole scarcity issue in South India, and how that entire district and the entire region was water scarce, and how this one person actually rejuvenated about and revived about 178 water bodies in 3 months, and kind of made this entire region from water scarce to water efficient. So these are some positive kind of stories which needs to be shown. Then there are the kind of scientific films that we work on, like with the scientists, of how they are now. We have a very big issue of climate change and the impact of climate change, and how it's going to impact in the entire globe. But how it's going to impact India is also going to be a very big issue, because the entire, we have about 7 to 8 states which are, the ocean are surrounded by ocean, and the rising sea level is going to cause the water to basically, the water quality will drop. And we have the entire Himalaya region, which is about 8 to 9 states. and they always have this problem of glacial flood outburst, and then all the landslides, and you hear about the earthquakes, so you hear so much. The rising temperature is also giving the farmers and all these people so many problems, and the air quality index is like kind of hitting the ceiling now. So basically we have so many issues when it comes to climate change and the impact that it's going to have. And out of the 30 cities, the most polluted cities, I think around 20 cities belong to India in the world. So we have to kind of somewhere tackle the air pollution in India, which is a major issue. And 51% of this air pollution actually comes from the industries, the big corporate giant industries. So the government has to name and shame these industries, and kind of and not think about the backlash that the government will receive after naming these industries who are polluting the environment so much, like the film that I spoke about previously. So there are so many issues that we are surrounded with, which needs to be documented, which needs to be filmed. Now, I'll be honest, like the place where I live, the apartments and the society there that I live around, and we are surrounded with people from all walks of life. So basically, I have people who are social entrepreneurs, who are influential, like digital influencers, and news readers, and various other news journalists, and so many people from all walks of life. So they kind of, few people are aware about the kind of climate impact we are into, and the kind of impact it's going to have on the earth and India specifically. But the rest of the people are not aware about what's going on and what's happening with the environment. What's the air, what's the issue with the air, what's the issue with the water. We're just not I'll be very honest, we're just not bothered. And so basically, you talk about environment to anybody, nobody seems to be bothered about it, but everybody is in deep shit. So we just have to kind of tackle this situation in a better way. And I really feel that documenting these stories and keeping it in front of the people for them to watch it and to understand the gravity and the depth of the situation that we are all in. So that's going to create a lot of positive impact. So I think we should keep doing documentary films specifically on environment, because moving forward we're going to have a lot of issues when it comes to environment and everything. So we have to really deal with these kind of films. We have to showcase these films, and we have to make sure that these films are seen by the general audience and the general people. So we have to make sure that all of this happens. So this is something that I had wanted to discuss. I'm all here for question answer after the next speaker or whatever. I'm available here. So yes, you can move forward.
I will ask you a question, Aati ma'am. Human needs are so much in contradiction with each other. Breathing clean air is a requirement. At the same time, reaching to the workplace is also a requirement. So you need to drive cars. You also need to breathe in the clean air. So these two needs are in somewhat a contradiction with each other. So how can cinema help in creating that balance and maintaining the sustainability in the development that you've been talking about?
Okay, so when we talk about pollution and when we talk about clean air that we need, so now we have to understand, we have to see the statistics, and we have to understand what kind of air pollution we are into. Like if I talk about the statistics, we have about 51% of the problem which is coming from the industries, the big industries. So we have to tackle that. When I say we have to tackle that in the sense that the government has to take proper measures to do that. Now that is 51%. Now the rest of the percentage comes from various other things like your like the cooking gas and everything that was a problem before. But now that is also substantially it's kind of less because of the cylinders which were provided to clean cooking options which are provided to the cooking people, and 30 million households are like kind of benefited by that whole scheme that went on for about a couple of years. So it's still going on. The other kind of the whole pollution related things is like the general transportation. So we are now looking into EVs, and we are now kind of getting into that area wherein we will be. So when we talk about pollution, and when we talk about it, this is a government level of kind of issue, which is a major government level issue, which cannot be tackled by us. But yeah, when we talk about us, yeah, when we have options of EV, and when we can, it's now going to be it's going to be out soon. When we talk about, I mean, it's like with one charge, they're talking about getting to about 600 kilometers, and which is a breakthrough, which will actually change all your automobile options. So I think when we have that option, and when we can go forward with it, we should definitely do that. And we should really opt for that. And when we say that we should opt for that, I mean, it will be available in the market. So on a daily basis, what kind of options that you can kind of change, and how you can contribute, is something also we should look at. So it's like a gamut of issues and gamut of problems and everything put together, but also on a daily level, like how can you reduce your carbon footprint, how can you reduce your garbage, how can you reduce your own thing. So that is something which is very important. How can you create your own fresh air, and how can you, I mean, so you have to plant trees wherever there's a possibility. I mean, a lot of people say that we live in a society and this, that, but definitely there's a lot of space where you can easily put about 25 to 30 trees, and you can take care of it on the like the surrounding area, of the the surrounding the buildings. So we can do that. It's just that you have to come forward and take these kind of little steps, which will actually make a lot of difference. And you should promote that in your neighborhood, and you should kind of see how and what you can do on a personal level. So majorly, it's going to be moving forward. It's going to be a lot of decisions which the government will take, a lot of decisions and a lot of innovations which will come from the social entrepreneurs and entrepreneurs from India, and a lot of solutions have to come from like individual household also. So we have to put things together and take care of issues like these. And we have to kind of I understand the air conditions have become very important these days to everybody, but honestly speaking, we just have to also think that, do you need it the whole day? I mean, you just the idea of getting into a comfort zone and keeping yourself very comfortable, and that's kind of impacting the environment a lot. And during the day, I mean, during the night, how much time? If it's a hot summer, definitely we understand that you should put air condition in the night because you need to get a good sleep, and during the day for a couple of hours. But starting your air conditions right from 8 o'clock in the morning, which goes to about 12 o'clock in the night, and again your bedroom starts from 11 in the night to morning, is that okay? Is a question that even we as a household should think. We should kind of get into that zone wherein we are thinking about the environment. It's a little bit of mindset shift that is needed for the people. So I really feel that you should really think about all these little issues in life and how you can tackle it. I'm sure you can always kind of have like 3-4 hours a day where you don't put on the ACs and you adjust to the environment. Even that is necessary. So we have to kind of make these little changes in life, which will be your household level changes, which will also make a bigger impact. And also kind of look for options which are clean energy friendly, and these kind of options. And when you when you will definitely have these EV vehicles coming very soon, maybe by next year it will hit the market, or next to next year. So it will be a very good option to switch from your existing car to that car, and that switch will be needed. So these are the kind of things that you should really think about.
Okay, we have Mr. Jelani with us. The technical issue has been resolved. And sir, we would like your opening comments on the topic that we are discussing today.
Very welcome. So it's like, it's too cool. Night temperatures were -5 degrees Celsius actually. I'm thankful to Delhi Metro Education School for this kind of debate we are going through. I have been last year a participant and a filmmaker there at your film festival. It was so wonderful. First of all, let me congratulate your school, the people who are there for conducting such kind of film festivals. It's so wonderful, wonderful. As far as this environment filmmaking is concerned, I mean, being in Kashmir, you know, it's at times quite difficult because you're living in conflict and you're living there almost since last 35 years. And making films in conflict is always too much difficult. But then, if you have an intent, if you have that knack to do what you want to do, then there is a place for you. There's a space for you. You can create a different niche. You can create a different aura by making environment films. I have been in this filmmaking since almost 20 years, 25 years down the line. Previously, I have been just an activist. But then, I mean, being activist itself, it was never enough in a place like Kashmir. You had to spread your message to audiences in Kashmir, around the country, around the globe. So film, storytelling was the best possible medium I could think of. So I took camera and started to do stories on different topics ranging from environment to ecology to glaciers to rivers, streams and forests and skiing. Because you know, Kashmir, we live wholly and solely as far as environment is concerned. It's the nature where our livelihoods, where our life, where our resources, where our industries, where our hardware and software lies actually. So we have to exploit nature and only nature and then feed ourselves, do the development, do the progress. But unfortunately, because of conflict, environment and ecology was absolutely, it was ignored from top to bottom because this government, the civil society, the NGOs and the organizations who are into the law and order situation, they were somehow into keeping the law and order situation and then resolving the conflict. Environment was absolutely, it was a no-go area. Environment, women and children actually. So I felt as a citizen of this state, as a citizen of this, my nation, I owe something to nature, I owe something to society, so I have to start it up. And then once you have a conflict, news is always about conflict. It's about that shock. It's about that awareness. It's about the fallout of the conflict rather than the environment and ecology. So I started to chip in with stories. I started to chip in with some films. And fortunate enough, now those stories, those films, they're coming up with results on ground in terms of mass awareness, in terms of, say, the people have started to introspect what we are being doing to Kashmir, what we are being doing to our nature, which actually is feeding us. So I'm glad as far as that that part of the filmmaking and storytelling is concerned. This is the film. This film is about an individual, a small boy of 12 years of age. When I make films, when I do the activism, it's more of a green activism rather just a filmmaking actually. And I believe any environment filmmaker, any documentary filmmaker has to be as activist rather than just a filmmaker. Your job doesn't end once you have made a film and screening. I don't feel, because you have to take the things to a logical end. You have to fight for the justice, fight for the intent with which you have made the film. You'll be surprised to know this guy, Bilal, just 14, 12 years of age, that moment of time, He is a unique person right now, because you would have usually seen brand ambassadors are either the cricketing icons or the film world icons from Bollywood or say the Hollywood or somewhere else, the people who have some kind of majestic appeal. It's a rare and rarest of thing that a rag picker, a person, a boy who cleans the Wular Lake. Wular Lake is Asia's second largest freshwater lake, with the area 272 square kilometers. You can imagine the kind of challenge he's taken to clean it up. And then he is being made as brand ambassador with Srinagar Municipal Corporation. And the message has gone so well down to the grassroots in Kashmir that everywhere you'll find people have started on their own to clean up the Wular Lake, to protect and conserve the Wular Lake. And that's why these films, these stories, you can put it in such a way you can become a real change maker. You can become as an icon. And always I have tried through my films to appeal single individuality. While operating as a guerrilla filmmaker, I just go out and then do the films as a guerrilla filmmaker. It's a single-hand filming. I come back, I script it, I say, edit it, everything possible on earth as far as filmmaking. I do it as an individual level. But I do even films with the individuals. I do with the intent to appeal the individual souls as far as human beings is concerned. So everybody come back and just show your bit. Show your concern about nature, show your concern about environment. That's where you can save whole of the mankind, whole of the humanity. Let's go next to, let's go to the next clip. It's mind mightier than might. You can see what an individual can do, what individual can, how can he inspire the whole of the world actually.
Beautiful film, sir.
This is the same film which won the honors last year at Cinesta, your film festival. And now imagine, I mean, it's not only about the sports, it can be any area. As an individual, you can come over disabilities, whatever you have, you can come over whatever the deficiencies you have. You have to bring your ability. Once you bring out your ability, you are going to succeed in this world. There's nothing on earth which can stop you. That's how the individual is important. You can change the whole of the world actually. You don't need to have the masses at a quickly. You can do it. It's doable thing. So you can see the inspiration Amir is giving to the world, how ability is winning over the disability, how power is winning over the disability and the handicap.
So there's a question that whenever we talk about media, we say that media catalyzes the entire process of development. But media also needs an environment to flourish. It also needs an environment to allow people to access that media, and then, that would allow social transformation and change. So where do you see the environment for media lacking? And, what kind of efforts can be put individually and by the government so as to make people more oriented even before consuming the media for social change?
I can tell you, I mean, it's a shared responsibility by the government, then by the civil society, then even by media itself. I've seen, I mean, we have commercialized media to such an extent, it's not only the commercial activity, whether it's filming, whether it's news, whether it's documentary filming, whether even it's a drama and serials. That's a very unfortunate part of it. We haven't been brought up, or we haven't been educated in such a manner that this is a wonderful, wonderful tool to bring a social change, to bring an environmental change, to bring, say, the justice. So come out with the humanity, come out with the compassionate things. We have taken it to extreme ends of commerciality. That's very unfortunate part of it. We have to think it, we have to retrospect ourselves as a responsible journalist, as a responsible media person, as a responsible filmmaker or a filmmaking student, that what is supposed to be done, what is supposed to be done in terms of, say, the nation building, society building, community building. Then and only then you can change the scenario. Unfortunately, we don't have better agencies. We don't have funding agencies. We don't have that much of telecasting agencies once you make the documentaries and they are going, or you get the funds from the banks or any agency to make films. That's why I'm telling you always, you have to be an activist. You have to come forward. You have to have that, I mean, a passion. You have to have them extra knack to do things on ground. Then maybe once you have shown your ability, once you have staged yourself somewhere to some level, then and only maybe possibly there are agencies, there are people who are concerned with this kind of scenario. They may help you out. Otherwise, the scenario is still very grim. It's not changed that much what we want it actually to be.
Okay, there are a lot of students here. I would
Can
request
I
them to
add
ask
to
a few
this?
questions. Yes, sir,
Excuse me,
definitely.
can I just add to this?
Yeah.
The
Yeah,
thing
yes.
is that, when you talk about the society and when you talk about, the importance of documentaries and we talk about, how can it bring about change in the society and all of that, I'll give you a very classic example. I'm sorry I'm giving you a classic example, not from our country, but from some other country. I happened to travel to China recently, I mean, one year back for a media fellowship. And I to study the entire media system there and how things happen there and everything. And there was a big conference that took place about of the broadcasting conference, wherein our Doordarshan the MD who was Supriya, I think she was also a part of that delegate, and we all saw. And something that really shocked me was that the government spends about 1,700 crores only on making documentaries. This was a huge amount. And we have about more than 50 channels when it comes to Doordarshan. Okay. And it's the same thing with China. But what is even important here to understand is from evening 6 to night 10, the time is restricted only to documentaries. There will not be any kind of any other content which will get played on any of the 50 channels or 100 channels. I don't know how many do they have, but all the channels, it's a strict thing from the government that from 6 to 10, it will only play documentaries, and people in the evening have to sit and watch documentary, understand the country, understand the issue, and understand everything, which I think was fabulous coming from any government, because these kind of steps, I think the government should move forward and take. So I think this was really important. I really thought of adding here because this is something that I saw, and this is something that is needed for all the documentary filmmakers. We need to make amazing films and show solutions and show problems, but at the same time we need a platform to showcase. We just can't keep roaming around with the films to festival to festival to festival. Is there any channel which actually where we are welcome to just go and show our work and they will telecast it? No, there is no channel. We have n number of channels, and we all know what is being played on those channels every evening throughout the day, and we all know that nobody's interested in that kind of content. But it's still the news has become entertainment has become some other level of entertainment. So it's like we have to really understand, and we have to, as a society, we have to push certain things in place, I think, now.
Okay, sir, there's a question that a student has sent me personally, asking me about the career prospects in environmental filmmaking. And I would like to add to this because I have seen Jalal sir, I follow him on Facebook, and he has talked about being an activist. So I think it takes a lot of courage to manage all the funds, go out and, explore the issues and, shoot it. It's such a big process. I mean, how do you muster that much courage to come up with films to inspire so many people around you?
Documentary is concerned, I'm still saying you have to be a volunteer. You have to be an activist. It's not a kind of medium where you go and if you want to earn money, don't come to this field. I'm so sorry. It is so boring in that way. It's not forthcoming. It won't reward you in a way unless and until, yes, you have reached a stage. And that's a time consuming thing. Once you reach it at national or international level, definitely, then and only then you may be rewarded a bit, but not wholly and solely. As an environmental filmmaker, yes, you have career. As a wildlife film, you have a career, but then you have to come up with that level. I mean, you have like National Geography Channel, your discoveries, You have another channel coming up with Vigyan Prasari doing a science channel now. The Doordarshan is coming up with another channel. Maybe in future coming times, we have some opportunities to do such kind of work. But again, then you have to put your effort. You have to make the pilot, then you have to make the stories, then give it to the commission agents at National Geographic or Discovery, or whatever the channel, private channels you have. Once they feel, I mean, the kind of content you have created, the kind of intent you have at that moment of time, then and only then they can just commission it. Until then, I suppose what you have to do, just concentrate on your career in a way it doesn't go beyond, say, financial aspects on. And government has to create kind of agency, entity which can fund such kind of initiative. And we say now, Atmanirbhar, we say now the innovative ways, we say now the vocal for local, those kind of things we have to come up. Then and only then our new budding filmmakers can come into it and then make the science film that we can just then broadcast across our, say, the spectrum as far as our country is concerned. We have so many channels by Doordarshan, how Arti was telling about it. But unfortunately, again, those are entirely on a different space. The content they are running is entirely different. Documentary filming about science and environment and all, it's a must thing, and we need to aware our people, we need our masses what science is, even our daily home science. Leave aside the rocket science and missile science, let that be there. But daily lives, we are breathing science. We are doing everything possible on earth that's science actually. We need to tell people what hygiene is, what this agriculture is, what this horticulture is. This is all science actually. So we can create content, we can then broadcast it to our homes. That's how, I suppose there are prospects, no doubt about, but then we have to initiate it. And initiative has to come from the government and has to come like organizations like Vigyan Prasar, like Department and Science and Technology, those kind of things, even Doordarshan can do it. Then we have a betterness of it.
Ma'am, there is another question from a student that has come to me personally in the direct chat. Looking at the clip that I ran, that was directed by you, the student wants to know what kind of an impact your films have made. Like we've talked about Mike Pandey in the class. There is a subject called development communication where they talk about the contribution and the role some of the Mike Pandey's films have made. So how have you assessed the impact of your films and how it has brought about some change in the society?
Okay, so I'll start with the first film that I had done, which was titled Land of Widows. It was on sandstone mining in Rajasthan, and these mines were running illegally, and there was so much of issue with the health and everything. So everything it associated with everything, were livelihoods and all of that, and health hazards, and it has actually, these mines have left villages and villages, like the complete villages are widowed. And there is not even a single man available in that village, in those villages which are surrounding the mines. So that kind of I was intrigued by that story, and I was like, I went and I shot everything, and I came back and I kind of played it at various film festivals, and it was a lot of articles were written about it, and in Rajasthan, in Bhilwara district, it became a very big deal, wherein the mines, two mines were shut down. Which were like the most, which were like the illegal ones, and there were few things there were few laws which came in place when it was about mining in that region, and as in a lot of crackdown happened on all the illegal mines that were running in those areas. So that is the kind of something that happened there. And then when I started shooting the other film, Foresting Life, about this person who, created a forest all by himself over 35 years, 1,500 acres of forest. So the day I met him to start the film, till that day, he was not known to anybody. And nobody was aware about his work. Not even the Assam government was aware about the extent of forest and the area of forest and what actually has happened. And I documented this story, and I kind of, a lot of film festivals took it, and it got national award. after it got national award, we actually wrote to the president and we all we requested for them to watch the documentary. And the following year, he got the Padma Shri. And the day I met him first time, he lived in a hut without electricity, without water. I mean, it was like he had spent 35 years of his life doing something for humanity, and nobody acknowledged that. So that was something very, I was touched by. I mean, I was like, no, this shouldn't happen. I mean, he should get his due credit. And like the following year, he got the Padma Shri, and now he's got the entire forest on his name, and he's got this whole foundation where he's doing a lot of afforestation work. So after the film won the national award, after that, a lot of journalists started going to him, writing about him. They started documenting him. So many films were made on him. So much happened around his life, and his life completely changed. And now he's a part of a lot of afforestation work that's happening in the country and across the globe. So he's kind of taking this idea forward, and so a film can really make an impact. And the recent one, which I'm doing it on all the cement companies which are operating in Meghalaya state. So I have already started getting calls from the cement industry, and so basically all these companies are kind of calling me and kind of trying to tell me that I should not make the film and I should not come back to Meghalaya to document the film. But again, I have one more schedule left, and I will be definitely going and documenting the film, and I'll definitely make sure that it comes out and people know about what's going on in Meghalaya, because it is unknown till now. So the thing is that there are things. A lot of things are happening around us. It's just that we are not aware about it. I mean, at a larger level, we are not aware. People are not aware about what's going on. So I think it's our role that we play as a documentary filmmaker to kind of act as a catalyst of bringing about that kind of small change, and kind of create that awareness which is needed in the society, and make those kind of issues and solutions aware, make people aware about these kind of issues that are happening, kind of make people aware about the solutions which are there. So these kind of films really add to a lot. And I'm sure, I mean, after this cement thing that we are doing, after that comes out, a lot of stuff will change in Meghalaya, and that's what we're actually looking for.
Thank you very much, ma'am. It was very comprehensive. Now, like, we are towards the end of fag end of the entire discussion. We have students here, and we would want them to be like Jalal Jilani sir at some point of time in life. We would want them to be like Aarti Srivastav ma'am at some point of time in life, because only if they become people like you, we will have a better world to live in. So, like, final comments from both of you. We'll start from Aarti ma'am. A few words to motivate these people, these students here, to take up the issues of environment through any form of medium that they would be interested in future.
Okay, so I would like to say that, if you're passionate about environment, I would first like to kind of advise that, you have to read a lot. Read a lot about the research papers, read a lot about what's going on, kind of start talking to people. When suppose, like, I'll give you an example of my film. Like when I was doing the cement thing, so I went to Meghalaya, I spoke to a lot of people, I did my on ground research, then I came up with the entire then I went to the research papers, and I saw where was the forest, where was where is this factory located, and it clearly marked the forest area. So you have to do a lot of research, and you have to come up with, because a lot of facts will be hidden from you, and you have to kind of find those facts, and kind of add to that. And you have to kind of also, when you're doing a film on kind of air pollution, then you have to read a lot about what's contributing to air pollution, read the research papers of the percentage of the kind of the contribution of various industries and various sectors, and how it's adding to that air pollution. So you have to kind of keep yourself up to date. You have to kind of keep yourself aware about it, and you have to read a lot of research and everything. And then once you are thorough with your research, your story flows in your mind. You know what exactly you need to say. When you know that this factory is in the forest zone, you have the tone ready for your film. when you know that this man who has done so much for the world, and he's still not got his credits, and he's still not known to the world, and the people don't know about his great effort. When you kind of research, when you kind of talk to people, you kind of put that tone to the film, that this person has done this much, and you talk in numbers, you talk in this, so it also gives authenticity to the film. So when you are passionate about it, I would suggest that you read a lot about the issue that you're passionate about the kind of film that you want to make and everything. And slowly, steadily, try watching a lot of environmental films which are being made by Indians, by international filmmakers. Watch and see how, what kind of narrative they're adapting to, what kind of, the way they are taking the shots, the way they are taking the interviews. See the interviews, and just kind of see how they are cut beautifully to the point and precise, and you will know that how you have to put things together to make sense. So when you watch a lot of stuff, you read a lot of stuff, it is really easy for you to kind of document and film. Then you know what you really need to do. So I would suggest that keep yourself aware about the situation, make yourself aware about the statistics, the research, read a lot, make yourself, kind of knowledgeable, read a lot of stuff, watch a lot of films, and then get on to making your own film, which will definitely be a great piece of, work that will come out from you. But just randomly do not pick your cameras, and just randomly do not go to a place and shoot something and come and edit. No, you put everything on paper first. I would suggest that this is a mistake a lot of filmmakers really do. Like, budding filmmakers, they just want to shoot something, and they just want to document something. They will take the camera, they will go. But in the end, when they sit to edit, they don't know where the story is flowing. So it's better that you put the points together on the paper, make a kind of proper flow, and then move forward and kind of set your tone, what you would like to say through that film. What is it that why are you making this film? What change do you want through this film? When you have these 2-3 questions in your mind, your work will be sorted. I mean, you will know exactly how the story should flow, what message you have to give, what exactly you have to show for people to be influenced. So you know everything. It's just that why you're making this film and what impact you want from this film. If that is kind of balanced and settled, I think you will kind of create an amazing piece of work.
Thank you very much, Aarti ma'am. Now, final words of motivation from Jalal sir.
So, Pramod, this is what, as a filmmaker, you can create, you can do, you can change things. Once this film came out, the government of India came up with a project that's called Zojla Tunnel, which is worth 8,000 crores. Once they saw, the ministers, the department, once they saw this film from an emotional angle, from a strategic angle, how important it is for our defense forces to cross towards Ladakh from Kashmir, which was usually cut off for almost 5 months to 6 months. But this is the guy, Tullah, who would keep it always open, even risking his entire life. And there is no other person, as far as Kashmir is concerned, as far as our country is concerned, who's like Tullah. Despite having such deficiencies, but still you can see the braveness. And fortunately, once the story came out, he was recommended for Chief of the Army Staff Medal. And since then, he got a permanent job in Beacon. It's now almost 5-6 years. And fortunate enough, from now 3 years or 4 years down the line, we will have an all-weather connectivity tunnel across the Zojula Mountains to Kargil, where our defense forces, civil traffic, everything can move. Otherwise, the people in Kargil in particular, they get stuck, they get absolutely blocked from the rest of the world almost for 5 to 6 months. But see the bravery of this guy, see the courage of this guy who could do it for entire humanity. And that's how, as a filmmaker, you can put up a story, then things can roll down and they can change really on ground. I'm glad that we were coming up with this project, and we are coming up with a tunnel across the Zojula Mountains. That's where the storyteller can chip in and bring the change.
Thank you very much, sir. Both you and Aarti ma'am have really inspired us. And it was a very interesting session, and I hope everyone must have had his or her share of learning today. And no words of thanks or gratitude can be complete without mentioning the efforts put in by people associated with CIFFI 2020 including festival directors Dr. Amrish Saxena and Dr. Vikrant Kishore. I cannot end the session without extending my gratitude to our partners, our jury members. I must extend my heartfelt thanks to the core team, especially Sumantra Sarthi Das sir and Ritvik Ghosh sir, who have worked day and night to make CIFFI 2020 a great success. Here I also wish to thank the students team who have been diligently working behind scene to see to that the festival is glitch free. Now I would like to invite our head, the DME Media School, Professor Dr. Susmita Bala, to sum up the session.
Thank you, Pramod. Good afternoon, everybody present here. Thank you all. Thank you, Anandji, for from CMS Vatavaran, and Arti Shrivastava, Jalaluddin Jilani. Thank you for sharing your screen on nice films. Very nice films. It's our pleasure to watch nice films on environment. Nature always appeal me. We should think about environment and other things. So thank you again. Thank you all of you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I would like to really thank everybody, and it's an amazing platform where you're talking about environment, and I'm so touched that you will be spending next couple of days doing this, and it's amazing. So it's nice that anytime you need anything, just let me know. I will always be there. And thank you so much, Jalal sir. It was pleasure sharing the session with you. I mean, I've always seen your work, but it's the first time I'm sharing the session with sir. So, I mean, thank you so much, sir, and it was a great pleasure to have you together here with us.
Thank you very much for you again. I mean, it's the first session we did have, but I have seen your films. They're amazing and wonderful work. And I would always watch for, the more you have the women filmmakers, I feel we can put a message in a better form and substance to the audiences. That's what my take is actually. It's always welcome.
Oh, thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. In the end, please don't forget to visit our CIFFI pages on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. Also, please do tune into CIFFI@dme.ac.in. Watch all the exotic cinema lined up tomorrow from 9:30 to 12:30. And also, don't forget that we have repeat screening taking place from 1 p.m. onwards. Also, viewers, not to miss the Sunday curated session on the Bombay Talkies and the Australian-Indian Connection segment 2. The session will be moderated by Dr. Vikrant Kishore and will be joined by Mr. Peter Dykes and Mr. Paul Dykes, the two grandsons of legendary Himanshu Rai. Also, to inform everyone here that we will have an interesting session lined up after this. Please do not miss. That will be a panel discussion on the topic, Mitra Chatterjee, an actor and beyond.